what's on the calendar for the fourth quarter. Now we're ending the quarter. One of the early birds in the new month and the new quarter is the stock exchange, talking about why data is important for wealth creation. Let's bring in Adebajoma, who is the Executive Director in charge of Market Operations and Technology at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good morning,
Thanks for spending time to be here.
Thank you.
Why is data important for wealth creation?
Data actually is the fundamental ingredient in making any investment decision. In fact, in making most decisions, data comes in many formats. It could be raw news, as we've heard this morning. It could be real market data. But for a market like a stock exchange, you have several types of data that you need to make informed decisions. So when people are trading, when the broker's on the floor trading, they generate price information. Yeah, and they generate other information alongside the price, volume, the depth of the book, you know, what's going on, how many people want to buy, how many people want to sell, bid and ask, as we call it in the market. Yeah, and those kind of information. Those are extremely valuable information for a buyer or a seller, for an investor to take hold of. So that's real-time data. For some people, they just want to see delayed data. So at the end of the trading day, what did the market do? For other people, they want to see reference data. So data that actually enriches, maybe gives a different perspective to a security. So you could look at the day the security was listed, how it's traded, and all of that. We call that reference data. So there's all sorts of categories of data. And it's so important that if you're going to make a decision on investing and make those decisions over a period of time and be successful in making those decisions, then the use of data and application of data is extremely vital.
How much is the data is the Nigerian Stock Exchange sitting on right now as we speak? How much data are you sitting on? Because you're the man in charge.
I wish I could sit on it. We have data dating back 1960.
57 years.
Yes.
Dating back to independence.
Yeah, dating back to independence. Clearly, the digitization of the exchange did not start until 1999. So some of those data is still held in analog format. But we have a process for converting them. But if, you know, we have access to data from 1999, and we have access to data at millisecond level since we introduced XGen as well. And what you find is that people use this data in all sorts of ways. You can use it to, you know, do technical analysis, predict what's going to happen, look at the past. Of course, the past is no indication of what's going to happen in future, but you take that data, you mix it with news information, understanding of the economy, understanding of what a company or sector is doing and the dynamics around that sector. You can start seeing how that's a far more reliable way. And we're very keen about this because we really want more retail investors to participate in the market. We knew what happened about 10 years ago, where, from what I've heard, some of them have to go to the imams or pastors
or the man of God.
to predict
the
stock market or the next year.
Those were the days.
We're saying you have a digital oracle or capabilities these days that can do it really, really reasonably accurate and make you make informed decisions.
So folks don't use what you call a beer parlor conversation to make investment decisions.
Well, for whatever it's worth, yeah, that gives color. But we're saying don't use that entirely. We're saying enrich it.
Yeah, you can use the word on the street. But again, you need data.
Correct. To supplement it and complement it as well.
Statistics are very, very crucial. And but there are a few other sources. Why is the Nigerian Stock Exchange market data so that brings it to the conversation about integrity, the transparency, and the timeliness that are necessary for market data?
Those are very, very good points. One of the roles of the exchange, as you know very well, Bosin, is to create a fair and orderly market. So in creating a fair and orderly market, you have to make sure, again, that data is available in a timely manner, in an accurate manner, not distorted. So the security of data, the way we transmit it, and all of those are very, very important. The latency to transmit the data is also very important. Let me talk a bit about that. It means that the prices that traders are trading on the floor of the stock exchange is the same price that those who are not on the floor, because traders can now trade using fiber connections to the offices, can see. It's the same price people like Reuters and all the other market data vendors are transmitting in real time. That's very, very important so that the market is fair and orderly. Otherwise, if you get a price before me, then you have an advantage.
I was about to ask, because there are other platforms like Reuters, Bloomberg, and others also show market data. How am I sure that this data integrity, time accuracy, and all that, the throughput is the same, that everybody, as soon as it gets into the exchange, I'm seeing it like everybody, even retail investors sees it the same time that institutional foreign portfolio investors get the same information, whether about companies or trade statistics.
Yeah. So from the exchange perspective, we have built our network, and the network is the part that takes the data from the trading engine and pushes it out to the wider market. We built it to be very, very fast and highly resilient.
That's the technology behind it.
That's the technology behind it. Once it goes out of the exchange, then of course you have, by way of analogy, various road paths. So a company can have, if you like, a 10-lane highway into their own network to take that data. Another company may have untarred roads. Yeah. So the speed at which each of those companies then get the data is outside the control of the exchange. Although any market data disseminator knows that whatever we chalk out, we chalk it out in a fair and orderly manner. Everybody gets it at the same price. And now how you take it in, process it, and all of that. But, a few seconds delay in data is not the end of the world for the man on the street, for the retail investor. In fact, market data has evolved significantly over time. What used to be called real-time data was actually about 15 seconds delay. Yeah, so even if we are up to standard time period, basically,
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's about that. So if you get it 5 seconds less, it's still superbly important. And there are various sources. Let me go to your point about the retail investor, which is very key. I mean, if the retail investor, as they're watching, look at the bottom of their screen on channels, they will see a ticker on it. Yeah,
right
the red line ticker. Yeah, with a white background. That is real-time information. That is the price that is on the floor of the exchange right now, as we're reading. It's as real-time as you're getting. So we've tried to make that data as accessible and widely available so that when the investor wants to make an investment, they don't necessarily have to rely on their broker alone. They can look at that price. The brokers, the leading brokers, now have apps, so investors can ask the brokers for TradeSmart app. Those apps will do a number of things. They will give you the price on the floor. If you have a portfolio with your broker, the app will value your portfolio for you. Yeah, and some of the really smart brokers pump in market data alongside news so that it helps inform investors, again, in making sound investments.
So both traders and investors, including the listed companies, have access to data, and they all need data, isn't it?
Correct.
So when you put all these folks together for a market conference, what would you be showcasing to them on the 4th of October?
Okay. What we hope to do with this conference is pretty straightforward. We hope to bring in the entire ecosystem to actually understand a number of things. So part of it is informational, part of it is developmental, and part of it is futuristic, as it were, really. So in terms of information and developmental, it's about saying, you know what, this is what's available for you, this is how you use it, and these are the building blocks. You need different people to make this happen for you. You need the exchange to generate the data in a reliable, fast manner. You need the brokers to transmit it to your apps, as it were. We need the press will be there as well, to push the data out in the various medium for investors to see. So all of those stuff, and what does it mean in terms of contract access and all of those? Those are very, very important stuff. But more exciting is actually the future as well. What can you do with this data? How can you use the data to make better investment decisions, to create wealth? So in that space, you have a number of panels, and those panels will have reputable people. The headline speaker is Bismarck Rewani, that we all know, who's going to give a good perspective. The SEC DG, the DMO DG will be there as well, and of course, the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Those are very key people.
You have,
in getting market data, because
correct.
In your system,
and insights.
of course, there are bond debt market part of the data box that you have.
Correct.
There with the exchange. Then, of course, the market regulator, the SEC, is also very important.
Correct.
So these are the folks that you think will come together and speak to the retail end of the market, which the stock exchange believe has to ramp up in terms of market participation alongside the big boys, the PFAs, the FPIs.
Correct. And in fact, we've lined up even more people. as well. So Thomson Reuters are coming. They're a major sponsor of this particular conference, and they're coming with a number of very key people who have got significant experience in the space of financial inclusion and also in the space of fintech as well. So financial inclusion is very key to us. So it's not just about the 30 million people that are BVN. Yeah, what about the other 80 million? We have about 110 million people between the ages of 18 to 60, you know. So there's still a lot we're leaving on the table, and these people deserve to share part of that wealth creation.
You got one ship, you're looking for the remaining 9.
Thank you very much, boss.
I think that's the way to put it. Thank you very much. I'll find time if I could get in there on the 4th of October. That's going to be the first major market event in the 4th quarter. Adebayo Jamal, the Executive Director in charge of Market Operations and Technology at the Nigerian Stock Exchange.